Hello? I'm not Violet. What is going on with my tracking? Hello? I'm no Frankie. I'm not Violet. She's not supposed to start for a couple minutes yet. However, Dinky had a lot to say. Are you hearing this? Oh, let me pause the music. Do you hear that? Oh, I should hide this. Oh. Do you hear that? That's Dinky the cockatiel. I could tell you exactly what every sound there is that they're making, what it is. Oh, I like that one. Anyway, I'm gonna help Violet get set up for her stream now. We have notes on the computer. Hold on a second. Ah. How are you today? Are you enjoying the story? It's kind of a weird story. I don't know if I like it, to be honest. Like, if you don't like the story, that's okay. I don't know if I like it either. That's not the point, though. Alright, I gotta go over here. Violet reads Small Gods by Terry Pratchett. Simulcast with YouTube. This is day 3, so I gotta put that there too. Day 3. Alright, I guess I can... I don't know if Violet wants to start with the birdie singing. Oh, I gotta put the music back on too. Okay. Well, I'm gonna pass it over to Violet. I've already taken up enough of time. I was in bed. As you can see. Watch, I'm gonna get up. I got up. Now I'm standing on my bed. Oh, I lay back down. Now I got up. Now I'm standing on my bed. Now I'm jumping on my bed. Now I'm jumping on my bed. Yay. Alright, let's get out of here. I'm gonna come over here and actually, through the magic of virtual reality, observe. It is now daytime. Just like that. Hello. I'm gonna pass it over to Violet in just a second. So, stick around and she's gonna read a story. I gotta write the note. There. Okay. The whole background gonna change too. Watch this. Bye. See you later. It's not quite 2 o'clock, is it? Well, that's alright. These streams are for myself, first and foremost, so... if they don't like it, then... I don't know, they can suck it. That's rude, isn't it? The turtle moves, my friends. The turtle moves. A place for everyone. And everyone in their place, yes. Hello! Let's move this down. Right about there. Hello and welcome. I am Violet, as those of you on YouTube are likely familiar with by now. That was Lil Frankie who was kind enough to get us started. Thank you for that. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, muy bien, thank you. They're like, did I do it? Is it okay? Is it your turn? Yeah, it's my turn to talk now. But you can still talk a little bit if you want, yeah. Oh, see there, they were waiting for my go-ahead. I am Violet. I am a violet cat girl. And I am here to do some reading with you of a very strange story by a very strange author, as presented to you by a very strange cat girl. So that seems pretty fitting. You all may remember that what you're about to experience is really something that's more so for my own benefit than anything else, because in an effort to become more comfortable with my own voice... Let me see. Okay, good. I'm just making sure. Sometimes our microphone likes to misbehave. No, it looks like you can hear me. Though I do want to say, if you notice any sound issues, please, if you notice any sound issues, I beg of you, say so either here on Reality, or even if you must, wait until the live stream is over and leave a comment. This is a series of videos, and you know, if we have one or two where the quality isn't the best, not a big deal. We can always go back and reread those pages together. But your feedback is very important to me, so please. Please. Any and all feedback is just fine, even if it's just to say, hey Violet, wow, you're so cute, but your voice is just so not cute. Well, that's not a very nice way to put it, but if you must say it that way, that's fine too. I'd like to know why you feel that way. It would help me a lot. Well, anyway, alright, let's read some Terry Pratchett, Small Gods. One of the Discworld novels that follows somebody other than what you might consider to be the main characters of the Discworld. Welcome, friends. We're just getting started, actually. Lil Frankie got us started a little early. We were going to get started at 2 o'clock, and it is now, as I check my watch. Oh, well, we're just 2 minutes shy of 2 o'clock, so it sounds like a good time to say hi, and let's get started. how you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I hope that, as I was saying, the sound balance here, both on Reality as well as on YouTube, is agreeable. And I hope you'll forgive Danky's enthusiastic efforts to contribute to my enthusiastic efforts. This is a collaborative stream with my beloved cockatiel. Alright. So, when we last left our prophet-to-be brother in the desert nation of Omnia, the desert nation, yeah, well, you know what? Look, just go back and watch the other videos. I'm not going to explain it every time. Good lord. I could, but this is a series. I have a playlist and everything. And if you have any questions, you can always either join us here on Reality and ask your question right now, live in the chat as I'm recording this. Or, if you like, you can leave a comment on the recording on YouTube after the fact, and I promise you, absolutely, we will respond to you. Sometimes it might take us a little bit, but we do always follow up on every comment. And if for some reason we fail to, just leave another comment. Alright. Oh, this song is so nice. I think this one is called See You in Class. It evokes the feelings of school time. For many, school time is a nostalgic feeling, and for those people, this song is very pleasant. Though if not, trust me, I understand. Alright, let's get to it. I'll pick up around where we left off on the previous page. We ended, thank you so much. We ended on page 11. Today we are going to go to page 10 to start, and then we'll move on to 11 and beyond. And we'll see how it goes. When the sun rose, the reflection of the doors of the central temple blazed like fire. Remember the temple? Remember the city? The citadel in which the temple lies, which occupies the whole of the heart of the city of Qom, and the lands between the deserts of Klatch and the plains and jungles of Hawundaland, which extends for miles, the citadel. Its temples, churches, schools, speaking of schools, dormitories, gardens, and towers growing into and around one another in a way that suggested, as you might remember the metaphor, a million termites all trying to build their mounds at the same time. When the sun rose, the reflection of the doors of the central temple blazed like fire. They were bronze and 100 feet tall. On them, in letters of gold set in lead, were the commandments. There were 512 so far, and doubtless the next prophet would add his share. The sun's reflected glow shone down and across the tens of thousands of the strong in faith, who labored below for the greater glory of the great god Om. Probably no one did know how many of them there were. Some things have a way of going critical. Certainly there was only one Shinobi arc, the superior Yam Yam. Remember that. That was certain. And 6 archpriests, and 30 lesser Yam Yams. Now I'm making that up, it's just Yam, I think. I-A-M, remember? And we're allowed to have a little fun here. And 30 lesser Yams, and hundreds of bishops, deacons, subdeacons, and priests, and novices like rats in a grain store, and craftsmen, and bull breeders, and torturers, and vestigial virgins. Well, no matter what your skills, there was a place for you in the Citadel. And if your skill lay in asking the wrong kinds of questions, or losing the righteous kinds of wars, the place for you might just be the furnaces of purity, or the Quisition's pits of justice. Oh, remember that? A place for everyone, and everyone in their place. Alright, now we're caught up to where we were last time. Let's continue, shall we? So glad you're here. I hope you're enjoying. I hope you're having a nice day. We enjoyed our time with you last night. The sun beat down on the temple garden. The great god Om tried to stay in the shade of a melon vine. Oh, look at this! We're getting to see what the great god Om himself... Is it him? I'm not sure. Well, when it comes to gods, gender is fluid, shall we say. If you're a god, you can change your form whenever you please, more or less. Well, at least you should be able to. Let's follow along. The sun beat down on the temple garden, where we find the great god Om. The great god Om tried to stay in the shade of a melon vine. A melon vine. There we are. He was probably safe here. Here inside these walls, and with the prayer towers all around. But you couldn't be too careful. He'd been lucky once, but it was asking too much to expect to be lucky again. The trouble with being a god is that you've got no one to pray to. I can relate to that. The great god Om crawled forward purposefully towards... I love that sound that Denki made. Sorry. I'm sorry. Where was I? The trouble with being a god is that you've got no one to pray to. Exactly. He crawled forward purposefully towards the old man shoveling muck until, after much exertion, he judged himself to be within earshot. The great god Om spake thusly... Right there, yeah. Hey, you! There was no answer. There was not even any suggestion that anything had been heard. Om lost his temper and turned Lutze into a lowly worm in the deepest cesspit of hell, and then got even more angry when the old man went on peacefully shoving. Shove-a-ling. It's one of those cases where the word stops and moves to the next line. Basically, it looks like the great god Om may have lost his power, though Denki hasn't lost their power. The devils of infinity fill your living bones with sulfur, he screamed. This, however, did not make a great deal of difference. Deaf old bugger, muttered the great god Om. Well, this is interesting. Lutze seems ignorant of the great god Om's presence. Now, might that be because the great god Om is without power, or because Lutze is just ignoring him? Lutze does seem to be an immortal being himself, as you may remember. A monk of history. Well, anyway, let's continue. Or, going back to what we were talking about before, perhaps there was someone who did know all there was to know about the Citadel. There's always someone who collects knowledge, not because of a love of the stuff, but in the same way that a magpie collects glitter, or a caddisfly collects little bits of twigs and rock. And there's always someone who has to do all those things that need to be done, but which other people would rather not do or even acknowledge existed. You know just what I mean, don't you? We're now on page 12. The third thing that people noticed about Vorbis... Now, hold on a second. The third thing? We haven't even mentioned the first and second thing. And who's Vorbis? Alright, well, let's learn who Vorbis is, shall we? The third thing that people noticed about Vorbis, whoever that is, was his height. He was well over 6 feet tall, Vorbis, but stick thin, like a normal proportioned person modeled in clay by a child and then rolled out. The second thing, we were just in somebody's stream yesterday and they were playing Trials of Mana. And for some reason the discussion in the stream went to what does Trials of Mana taste like? And the general consensus appeared to be that it tasted like Play-Doh. So now I'm imagining this 6 foot tall, stick thin, well, over 6 feet tall, stick thin Vorbis made out of colorful, maybe not so tasty Play-Doh. There's a mental image, I guess. Any Trials of Mana fans? Pretty fun game it looks like. Alright, alright. Like a normal proportioned person modeled in Play-Doh, as it were, by a child and then rolled out. The second thing, okay, now here's the second thing that people notice about this Vorbis, was his eyes. Vorbis's ancestors had come from one of the deep desert tribes that had evolved the peculiar trait of having dark eyes. Not just dark of pupil, but almost black of eyeball. It made it very hard to tell where he was looking. It was as if he had sunglasses on under his skin. But the first thing they noticed about Vorbis was not his eyes, it was not his height, it was in fact his skull. Deacon Vorbis was bald by design, so he's a deacon, I see. Most of the church's ministers, as soon as they were ordained, cultivated long hair and beards that you could lose a goat in. But Vorbis shaved all over. He gleamed, and lack of hair seemed to add to his power. He didn't menace. He never threatened. He just gave everyone the feeling that his personal space radiated several meters from his body, and that anyone approaching Vorbis was intruding on something important. You know, I have to say, it sounds like Vorbis would be very good at Super Smash Brothers. That's just the kind of attitude you have to have. Danky, I love this. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? He just gave everyone the feeling that his personal space radiated several meters from his body, and that anyone approaching him was intruding on something important. Superiors 50 years his senior felt apologetic about interrupting whatever it was he was thinking about. Untouchable, indeed. Indeed, that's just the word. It was almost impossible to know what Deacon Vorbis was thinking about, and no one ever asked. The most obvious reason for this was that Vorbis was the head of the aforementioned Quisition. The Quisition, whose job it was to do all those things that needed to be done and which other people would rather not do. You do not ask people like that what they are thinking about, in case they turn around very slowly and say, you. No thank you. Welcome. We are reading Small Gods by Terry Pratchett. We're now moving on to page 13. Feel free to stick around. We are also recording this on YouTube, so you can watch it after the fact later if you like. Getting back to Deacon Vorbis, head of the Quisition in the desert nation of Omnia, where they all worship the great god Om. The highest post in the Quisition that could be held was, in fact, that of deacon, which Vorbis himself holds. A rule instituted hundreds of years ago to prevent this branch of the church becoming too big for its boots. But with a mind like his, everyone said he could easily be an archpriest by now, or even an yam. A yam. Vorbis didn't worry about that kind of trivia, however. Vorbis knew his destiny. Hadn't the god himself told him? Interesting. It would seem that Vorbis may have had some conversations with the great god Om as well. We'll have to see where that goes. We just mentioned Vorbis's boots. Apparently they are of the one-size-fits-all, tighten-the-screws variety. So Vorbis is a very, shall we say, severe individual. Getting back now to Brother and Brother Numrod. Remember Numrod and Brother? Brother, the prophet-to-be of the great god Om. Yeah, Danky. Danky's loving this. I did notice we hit our 15 minutes for today. And, I don't know. I don't know if Danky's singing detracts from the experience for you, or if Danky's singing contributes to the experience for you, but let's continue a little more. There, said Brother Numrod, patting Brother on the shoulder. I'm sure you will see things clearer now. Brother felt that a specific reply was expected. Yes, Master, he said. I'm sure I shall. Brother Numrod finished, as he so often awkwardly did. It is your holy duty to resist the voices at all times, said Numrod, still patting. Oh, how sweet. Yes, Master, I will, especially if they tell me to do any of the things you mentioned. Good. And if you hear them again, what will you do? Brother Numrod's a bit awkward. Come and tell you, said Brother, dutifully. Tell you. Good. That's what I like to hear, said Numrod. That's what I tell all my boys. Remember that I'm always here to deal with any little problems that may be bothering you. Well, that's very sweet. Yes, Master. Shall I go back to the garden now? No, I think so. And no more voices, do you hear? Numrod waved a finger of his non-patting hand. A cheek puckered. Yes, Master. Brother Numrod suddenly asked a question of Brother. What were you doing in the garden? Brother responded, hoeing the melons, Master. Hoeing the melons. Okay. Well, I guess that's what you do in the garden. You hoe those melons. Melons! Ah, melons, said Numrod slowly. Melons. Well, that goes some way toward explaining things, of course. An eyelid flickered madly. As you might have guessed already, poor Brother Numrod, 50+ years living in the Citadel in a, shall we say, not-so-sexual lifestyle. He's a bit repressed. And that's okay. It's his life, and it's his to live. We're not here to judge anybody. All right. You know, I think we're actually just going to leave it there for today. We didn't go quite as long. We got up to page, 13? 14. We just made it to page 14. But you got the very unique experience of hearing Danky's wonderful singing. And I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah. And, of course, I got my daily practice in. So let me know what you think in the comments on YouTube about the story, about my voice, about my vibe, about Danky's singing, about the music, about the whatever. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks for stopping by again today here on Reality.app as well as on YouTube.com. Today is Sunday, so today we will likely not have much, if any, of a streaming presence. There is the possibility of a gameplay-only stream later. Momo and FF had done that just the other day with some F-Zero, and we might do that again. But outside of a gameplay-only stream or a very reduced chat stream, we probably will not be live today. However, I do encourage you to check out our pre-recorded content, our past live streams, and other things like that. And of course, every week we will be sharing other streamers and content creators that we recommend you to check out. We know so many wonderful people, some of them personally. So check that out too, won't you? Thank you again for stopping by. I hope you have a very lovely day. And please look forward to more of the adventures of Brother and the great god Om, not to mention our friend Lutze, as well as the now very severe Deacon Vorbis. Interesting. I look forward to learning more about Vorbis and his aspirations and how they might interact with Brother and his own aspirations. I still haven't fixed my hair, you know. Maybe the next time you see me, it'll have that blue tint that I enjoy so much. Green is my natural color, you know. If you were wondering. Sometimes I like to dye it orange, though. It's a nice color. And here in the virtual space, changing your hair color is very easy. $69. Nice. Very nice. Daisuki. Dari. And I think we are no longer live on YouTube. I think. Oh shoot. I wish I had gotten you saying that. But I have it right here in my heart. Hey! We're just wrapping up. Thanks for saying hi. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Also, no profile can ever be too long. If there's a character limit, my friend, take advantage of it. It looks like we may in fact still be live. Yeah, you know, sure. What's your question? Recognizing that I know nothing about you and your intentions and that your question might be an uncomfortable one, I'm prepared for anything. What's your question, my friend? It's about readings, sure. I'd love to hear your question about readings, and I appreciate you giving me a sense of what your question is before you ask it. That's very considerate of you. Thank you. Please go on with your question, I'm very curious. Daki's still got that energy, I love it. Yeah. They like to do this from time to time. You've written some stories of your own, huh? I love that. That's great. I wonder what type of stories they might be. So our guest here, Zem, not Zim, not to be confused with, says, I have written some stories, but it's not finished. I was wondering if I gave you, Violet, part of it, would you read it? Or do you need to have a full story? I'll tell you what, my friend, I would be very happy to take a look at your story. We have, I can think of a favorite VTuber friend of ours who shared some of their lore with us, and it was such a delight getting to experience it. In fact, actually their lore has changed a little bit since then. I have to catch up. But yeah, you know, I think that's a great idea. If you have a link to where you have it saved, or even if it's not particularly long and you just want to send it right in a message here on Reality, just make sure the last thing you say is that you had spoken with me, Violet, because one of the others might see it and be like, what the heck is this? Who's this person? I don't know who they are. No, I love that idea, I do. Yeah. Feel free to share. And who knows, maybe we can share your story too. We'll see. No promises, of course. But this series of reading Terry Pratchett's story of Small Gods, I mean, we're going to finish it, you know? And when we have finished it, we're going to want to read some other things too. So we'll see what happens at that time. Well, my friend, all you need to do is here on Reality.app, you can go straight to my profile, and then from there you should see a little button that says message, if you have it in English. I'm not sure what your main language is. Perhaps your main language is cockatoo, in which case it might say brr, 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 brr. But yeah, you'll find right on my profile a button that says message, and you can send a message there. If you have a link, feel free to share that link of your story. Or as I said, if it's a very, very short story, the character limit on Reality is pretty forgiving. I love that! Hey, thanks for asking that. And I look forward to having the opportunity to experience your story, and if you'd like some kind of feedback, I'd be happy to share that feedback with you. That's very sweet of you to ask, and I hope you've enjoyed your time here with this little reading. We will, of course, be doing this again tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after. This is a daily thing, so look forward to it again. Very sweet to have a question like that. I really like that. And I should emphasize that to all of you out there, I really should. Thank you so very much. That means a great deal. It really does. We love art. Whether your art is drawings, whether your art is writings, whether your art is performance, whether your art is game creation, whatever it might be, we want to experience it. And if you need somebody to take a look at what you've made and give you their experience of it so you can better understand your own art, well, we'd be very happy to do that for you, because we have a very few special darlings who do the very same for us, and it's incredibly special for us. It really is. So the least we can do is offer that same very special, I don't want to say service, but you know what I mean. That very special, not quite a service, but to you as well. So I'm so glad that you came by and asked me that question, that important question, I would say. And so to all of you, feel free to share, okay? I really mean that. Yeah. I love that you asked that question. I think this is a good place to leave it for today. We were about to wrap up anyway, but unless anyone has any other questions, and even if you do have other questions and you didn't get the chance to have them answered here live, please remember that the YouTube recording will be going up, and you can leave a comment right there, which of course we will respond to very promptly. So once again, to everyone here on Reality.app, as well as YouTube.com, thank you so much. And to our new follower, Zem, the writer, I look forward to experiencing your story, and I'll be happy to share whatever feedback you like. And again, to all of you out there, your feedback about our art, which this technically qualifies as what I'm doing right now, technically qualifies as art, your feedback is invaluable to us. So we always appreciate it. And that's all I have for you today. Where were we with the story, right? Melons. Ah, melons. 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 Well, that goes some way toward explaining things, of course. There's that flickering eyelid again. You guys are too much fun. I love this.